I'm Lauren Green. Welcome to Bias Bash. When Donald Trump canceled a rally in Chicago after alleged security concerns, there were a lot of media outlets who drew immediate parallels to 1968 and the riots that occurred that year. Are the media missing important contexts and ignoring the fact that these were only small altercations between protesters and not actual rioting? Joining me with media analysis is Ellen Ratner, Bureau Chief of Talk Media News and Fox News contributor. So are they sort of too quick to go right back to 1968?
They're way too quick. Some of us old bats were around in 1968, and I remember the riots, and I remember the large protests. I mean, there were thousands of people on the streets. You don't see this. You see some little dust-ups here and there, one or two people protesting, somebody goes after them, etc. But it's not the same thing at all. And for the media to draw that inference, I think, is really disrespectful to the Trump campaign and to this particular election, which is very different than 1968.
You know, are they paying too much attention to the altercations in the Trump rallies and not enough attention to little skirmishes that happen in other rallies? And there's been an occasion in the Rubio event.
Well, there have been skirmishes, and there will probably be some protests. That's the American way, you know. I remember that when President Bush, the second President Bush, was around, and even the first President Bush was around, there were AIDS protests, even though Hillary Clinton said, you know, that, well, whatever. And the fact is that it's a very different situation. You don't have these big protests. They're little baby protests. You cannot compare it. And the news media should be faulted for that kind of comparison.
Now, I'm not trying to play devil's advocate or anything. Well, maybe I am. But don't you think there's a legitimate kind of parallel you can draw in terms of saying, you know, this was Chicago, and the riots started in Chicago. Obviously, there were 10,000 people who rioted in Chicago and 20,000 cops. It's a big difference. But the mood of what's happened in Chicago, and perhaps that's what they're drawing the parallel to.
I'm not so sure. First of all, you had one big issue in Chicago, and that was anti-war. This is more than one big issue. These are lots of little issues that go into the Trump campaign, but it's not like there's one overriding issue. It's not like we're in Iraq or something and everybody wants to get out. I think the difference is between night and day, actually.
All right, I want to thank you so much, Ellen Ratner. For more media analysis on this week's top headlines, catch Media Buzz with Howard Kurtz, Sundays at 11 a.m. Eastern and again at 5 p.m. Eastern on the Fox News Channel. I'm Lauren Green, and thanks for watching.